Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. A little bit under the weather today, but feeling slightly better than when I made my live stream yesterday, which you can check out the link for that at the end of this video. But back at it here. This is episode 2, playing in my Plymouth colony here in the game Banished. And if you are new to this and you didn't see the first video, in the description below you can see the link to video 1 of this series. But we're picking up here in the middle of year 3 of our colony, and as one of the viewers correctly pointed out, I definitely need to build a well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And the reason a well is important is because if for some reason a fire breaks out, which it inevitably will do, I need to have wells so that the villagers can get some water and put out the fire. We don't want to lose all our crops or something to that nature. So I'm going to go put it over here near the homes, as near to where the homes are as I can. I've got builders, which means I have something going, and I'm trying to remember what else I'm building. I'm sure it will become clear to me soon enough. So we're going to go ahead and get going here. I've still got it on 10 times speed. And just taking a look here, we've got a decent amount of stored logs, plenty of stone and iron right now. We've even got some stored medicine, some stored clothes. So I think, that's what I'm building right here, this stone house. Once I build the stone house and build the well, I think the next step is to go ahead and get the trading post. And we'll put that right over here because it looks like a good spot for it. And that way we can start trading and getting some additional things, get some livestock, bringing some additional options for myself. So now they're going to go ahead and work on, and I think also into the late winter, early spring, I'll go ahead and put an orchard in right here. That'll give me another option as far as my food, just to have a nice diversity of food. So let's go ahead and get this trading post going. We're going to slap that right there. Alright, the well is complete, so you can rest a little easier that things will be okay if there's a fire that breaks out. Nobody in the cemetery, that's always good. I don't have an herbalist working right now. I may want to change that, but for now I'll be okay. I've got 54 medicine, but things like medicine, the tools, which I have 99 right now, clothes, I'm going to probably have to get the tailor back to work here soon. Those are things that can be traded for a decent amount, because some things like seeds for new types of crop are like 2,500, and food is 1. So I mean, you'd have to trade 2,500 food just to get that 1 seed. So other things are a little more valuable, and they can be traded, but I've got to have a nice surplus of those to make that happen. So once this trading post is built, I'm going to have to assign one of my workers to that. It's definitely the drawback with using the mod that is 1 year equals 1 year, is that it takes longer for my people to get of age so that they can become workers. But it also is more realistic as far as how things go, so I prefer it this way. It just makes the game go a little bit slower than it otherwise would, because I can't expand quite as rapidly. Alright, so let's pause for just a second here. Well, you know what, I don't really need to pause. We'll let things continue on. We need to assign a person as a trader. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that yet, because the only reason to assign somebody as a trader is that they will go and gather. You can tell the trader to stockpile certain items that can be used for trade, and they'll go gather those items. Now, I can wait until it's going to take probably a year or two before the first trading boat appears. And when it does, I'll see what he has, and if there's anything that I want to trade for, I can assign a trader at that point, have him start gathering all the things that I want, and worry about it that way. I'm going to go ahead and reassign the tailor, just to go ahead and make some coats until we run out of leather, because I don't know how much leather I have available. 24, so not a lot, and that's going to go pretty fast here. And we're going to go ahead and queue up an orchard, even though it's autumn now. So honestly, we're not going to do anything with an orchard until spring. And it takes a couple years before the orchard actually can be of use. And pecans are what we're going to be able to grow. Those are the seeds that we have available to us. Food's still doing okay. The other thing that's really helpful in this game, and I think I've got enough resources to go ahead and build this, is to build a town hall. And what's cool about the town hall, and it's a big building and takes up a lot of space, is a town hall gives you the ability to kind of see a whole lot more information about what's going on in your town. You can find out how much food you consumed in the previous year, how much wood you consumed, how much, So it gives you a lot better idea of where things stand in your village and how much surplus you're creating of things, and just kind of understand what's going on a little better. So I'll show you some of that once the town hall's completed, and they're going pretty fast here. Of course, that used a lot of my stone to do that, and as I always do, I turned off some of my information. There we go. But I've still got quite a bit of stone. At some point, though, I'm going to have to start thinking about a quarry, because I will have gathered all the stone that's close. I'm going to go ahead and get an herbalist back to work as well, just because I want to have a nice surplus of medicine to trade with if I need to. So we're up to 14 adults now, 11 children. Of course, no students because I don't have a school, and I'm not going to get a school for a little while yet. School just creates educated villagers, which in turn work much better. And I'm also going to need a hospital at some point. So these are all things that I have yet to build that'll definitely come in handy. But a hospital's not a big deal right now because I'm at 4.5 out of 5 hearts on the average health of my citizens, which is pretty good, I think. So we're into late winter. It's going to be spring soon. All right, my tailor's back out of work again because there's no leather. But now you can see I've got 47 stored clothes, so I'm good for a little while on that. We're going to need a couple additional farmers. All right, our town hall is built now, so now I can show you some of this. You can see 40% of my people are clothed. That's going up, as you can see, because of all the new clothing we just built. So that pretty much took out everything I just made. 11 children, 14 adults, 25 citizens total. They're in 8 families. Do I have 8 homes? I don't know that I do. So we must have some families living together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I'm going to need to build some more homes. We're going to go stone. Our firewood reserve. Actually, we're out of firewood. All right, we need to get a woodcutter going again. So let's take a look here. You can see again how many locations of the different things I have going here. Production, here we go. You can see all of my limits at once. You can see what I used in the last year, what I produced in the last year. So it gives you an idea of, are you producing enough for what you're using? And obviously I'm not producing much stone or iron, but that's because I built up a nice stockpile of it. I'm producing 3,500 food and only used 2,200. And of course now I just put in an orchard, so that means I'm going to produce some more food. And there's some things I can do to get more food quickly if I need to. I can assign more gatherers. I can assign more fishermen. So food is not really an issue at all for me right now. Used 8 herbs in the last year, produced 11. So in every area, I'm looking pretty good. I can also look at 5-year stats, 2 years, etc. A lot of great information that can all be seen in one place here. Nomads. There are no nomads requesting citizenship. So there is. I said in the first episode that people don't just show up wanting to be a part of your village, but apparently that can happen at some point. So that'll become a factor that we have to deal with. And you can see the acquired seeds and livestock. There's a lot of different things I need to acquire, and that's going to be expensive to do that. All right, we got 2 more homes now. We should have homes for all families. We've got a couple of 6-year-olds living on their own in stone houses. All right, sounds good. One of our 6-year-olds is an herbalist. The other one's a hunter. That's kind of freaky when I think about my son who's about to be 6, who has no business whatsoever living on his own. It was a different world for sure. Plenty of tools still. I've got to start thinking about places I'm going to get iron and stone when the time comes that I need those things. You can see the trees are growing nicely, so my forester is going to be able to cut some of those down as needed. In fact, it looks like he's doing that right now. So all is well. And so we're just waiting to see when the trader comes down the river. And I'll get a notification in my event log when that happens. So everything's going pretty smoothly right now. We could actually start planting some additional crops to get a little variety. What is the other type of crop that I have? It's wheat. So I could grow some wheat, but my problem is I just don't have a lot of extra help right now to do that. And I apologize for wiping my nose and stuff, but I'm still dealing with a bit of a cold. So I do have one free laborer available. Let's see what I have as far as leather. There's a little bit of leather, so I'm going to go ahead and just get the tailor fired up one more time here, just to quickly turn all that leather into clothing. And we're into the late autumn of the year 5. Things are going along nicely. Still harvesting the crops, what's left of them. We got plenty of food. I'm guessing next spring maybe we'll see the trader. So let's see if we can get the tailor to, no, we don't have any wool, so that's not going to work. Never mind. Gonna need some sheep at some point. So firewood starting to be built back up now. Plenty of logs, so we'll let the woodcutter go at it for a little while. Next year the pecans should be ready to harvest, I would think. We just got to watch, because one of the things you hate to see happen is an infestation. You have to go in and cut all those trees down, because then it sets you back a couple years again. I'm definitely not at the place where I need to worry about wheat yet, but I'd really like to have it. I'm thinking schoolhouse, chapel, hospital. The happiness of my citizens is good. It's at 5 stars, so I don't have to worry about a chapel yet. So we'll just keep an eye out here and see if that trader comes down the river. Anyone? Bueller? Usually you can see him coming. But nothing yet. What is that? Is that a deer walking across frozen water? I guess it was. Alright, Taylor's out of supply yet again. So Taylor can go back to being a laborer. Another child born. We've got 15 adults, 13 kids now. And another one of those children just became a laborer. So that's excellent news. We'll go ahead and fire up the blacksmith, build some more tools that can be used for trading. And I'm actually going to go ahead and assign a trader, just so I can start. It takes some time for them to stockpile all these things that we want to put in our inventory. Let me see what we have a lot of. Got a lot of corn. Of course, oftentimes the traders don't want to trade for corn. There he is. Okay. So just in time, let's pause for just a second because I want to see what he's got available. Cabbage. Yeah. Corn's what I'm making right now. So cabbage, really not very helpful to me because I've already got wheat that I'm not producing. So we're going to go ahead and buy the seed, though, just so we have it, because it may be a while before that comes along again. So once I get some corn in here... Oh, that's actually not a cabbage seed. That's just cabbage. Well, oh well. We'll go ahead and trade, just get a little variety briefly. But what we can do is we can give him an order. And we can tell him that we want all these other things. So things like apples, beef, eggs, mutton. It's a lot of food mainly here. Just tell him to bring us some of that stuff next time he comes. We'll go ahead and dismiss him so he'll get going. So first season with the trader didn't produce a lot of any value. But we're going to go ahead and stockpile some stuff here. Some hide coats. A little bit of logs. Not a whole lot of anything. Alright, we're up to 500 firewood, so we can turn off the hunter there. Or not the hunter, but the woodcutter. I'm actually going to assign a third hunter. I want to gather up some more leather so I can get my tailor to work a little bit more. Got to keep an eye on the iron situation. I wonder if there's any iron in these woods that I can gather up. Let's take a look. Very little. There's some up here. We'll go up and gather. Some down here as well. Our herbalist is maxed out, so we're going to put the herb limit up some more. And I'm going to go ahead and tell my trader to gather some of those up as well. Because those are valuable. Okay, so everybody's at work right now. I don't have any free laborers. And it looks like the pecans are still one more year away from being able to be harvested. But I'm up to 16 adults that are in the workforce. Nobody's died yet. When I start building things like mines and quarries, you'll start seeing work accidents happen, unfortunately. Oh, look, our 8-year-old has gotten married. Our 10-year-old and our 8-year-old have gotten married. So we've got a 10-year-old hunter married to an 8-year-old herbalist, Ivan and Talonzo. And they don't have a lot in terms of inventory. They better start gathering stuff up before winter comes. Let's look at some other folks in their inventory here. A little bit more variety, but nobody's gathering a lot of anything. I'm thinking maybe I want another gatherer. We can get our trader out of work for now because he's gathered up everything I want him to gather up. So not a lot of growth in terms of buildings. I mean, I've added the trading post, the town hall. Let's take a look at production versus food in the last year. So the main one here is right here, food. I produced 3,312 food in the last year. I've consumed 2,300. So I've still got a nice surplus. Another child born. We're up to 29 people in our village now. And we're going to produce more food next year because of my hunter and also my orchard, which should be finally ready to go. Okay, so the blacksmith's got us up over 100 tools again. So I'm going to assign another fisherman. Wow, these folks are being fruitful and multiplying. They're 22 years old, and they've already got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Excellent. Same here, man. Go to town. And Ladani just became a laborer at the age of 6. If you put them in school, it takes a whole lot longer to get them, and so it's just not worth it for me to do that right now. I need to wait until I have a lot more workers available to me before I start thinking about building a school and taking all of that child labor that I could be using and losing it until they're teenagers. I've also got some more stone over here that I could be gathering up. Alright, let me take a look real quick at... No nomads, no. Overview. We've got 9 families now. So I guess once again we want to go ahead and just stay ahead of the curve a little bit with the homes that we're building. So that should give me 10 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That almost looks like 1 there. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Plenty of iron, plenty of stone, plenty of logs. Firewood's getting low. We're going to need to get our woodcutter going at it again here. A tornado has touched down near the town. Wait, what? This is not what we want to see. I think I saw it up here. Maybe it's gone already? Because I have it on such a fast speed, I think I missed it. Well, good. Go away, tornado. I lived through a tornado that touched down near our home. My wife really lived through a tornado. In 1985, the area where I live was hit by one of the worst F5 tornadoes in history. And in fact, I think it was the longest an F5 has ever been on the ground. It was on the ground for something like 45 miles. It actually took out the street next to the street where my wife lived at the time. She heard it. She could hear the sound of the tornado. The damage was devastating. It was the last day of school that year. It was May 31st. It was our last day of school. There was a skating rink in the town where my wife grew up. That was just a couple miles from my home. And they'd given us all free passes for the skating rink to celebrate the end of the year of school. But thankfully, looks like it slowed time down when the tornado hit. Thankfully, the tornado hit early enough in the afternoon. It was, 4 or 5 o'clock. That none of the kids were at the skating rink yet because the skating rink was completely flattened by the tornado. There were a lot of people that lost their lives, but I'll never forget that. The sky looked a color that I've never seen a sky look before or since. Alright, so we're back up to 75 herbs. Now, here's the thing. I've got some of this stuff sitting over here in my trading post. I could send it back if I need to, if I got low on some things. I need some builders to build those houses. Alright, we're going to take one of our hunters and make him a builder. Alright, we're into the early summer of year 7, so moving right along here nice and quickly. We'll get our tailor back to work here pretty soon. I'm hoping that trader shows up again too, pretty soon. So we survived our first little disaster, although I never even saw the tornado, so I guess it didn't do any damage. I also don't have any alcohol. Now, that may become a problem if I decide to go that route, but at some point I'm probably going to have to think about that when happiness starts to suffer. Our pecan orchard can finally be harvested, so that'll give us even more food. Workers not going too quickly on the homes. 59% of my workforce is educated, so that's not bad, since I don't have a school. So production, right now it's saying I only produced 2,291 food in the last year. But we're in late summer. That means the harvest is about to start. In fact, it's starting now. So that number's going to go up. All right, so here's the current production is, or the current amount I have versus how much I've used, how much I've produced. Got plenty of medicine, No coal. I'm going to need some coal at some point. And I'll show you why. As we look at our blacksmith, he's making iron tools, which take logs and iron. Steel tools require logs, iron, and coal. So once we start producing coal, we can make steel tools, which last a little longer. And they're also worth more on the trading market. But I'll need a mine to do that. Alright, our woodcutter has gotten us back up to where we need to be. I'm going to go ahead and assign that woodcutter to a builder. Another child born. We're up to 30. Alright, so the next step's kind of what I'm looking at here. I need that trader to come back and offer me some things I don't already have. I'm going to need to plant some more farmland to plant wheat, which I don't currently have going for me. I need to keep an eye on the food production, which seems to be in pretty good shape. And I need to eventually build a mine to start gathering coal. I could also put a tunnel through here so I can get at some of these resources. So I'm not going to need to mine iron or stone just yet. In fact, let's go ahead and look at that. We'll put that tunnel right there. And we'll build a road to it. Alright, we're up to 21 workers now, and I've got some extra laborers here, so I'm going to assign some more over to the task of building. Obviously, as more mouths need to be fed, more food's going to need to be produced. I'm going to go ahead and tell them to gather up any resources over here for the time being. Now the tunnel's done. But they're not using it. Well, some of them are starting to, but a lot of them are still just walking over the hill. I've got 7 laborers now, so I can start improving what I've got in some of these areas. Let's get the tailor going again. And I think it might be time to start mining coal so we can start producing some better tools. Where's the mine? Here we go. Mines have to be built on the side of a hill, so I'll have to find a good spot for that. There we go. Alright, where's that trader? It's about time he came back. So they'll clear everything out over here. Eventually they'll get that mine built. We'll start mining coal. We'll start producing some steel tools. That'll be nice. Alright, so you can see I produced 4,400 food last year. Only used 2,800. Still well ahead of the game. I've got to stay ahead of the game on these things because I don't want starvation because it'll lead to death, which then leaves me with fewer workers. I've got to make sure I'm producing enough medicine to keep everybody healthy. Producing enough clothes and firewood to keep them warm. Alright, once again our tailor has no work because the tailor is out of leather. And we only got up to 32 stored clothes. But we're 100% clothed. We have 9 children, 22 adults, and there is our trader. What do you have for me this time? Ale. Come on. I need some stuff that's going to be sustainable. I need seeds. I need things like that. All right. Doesn't have much ale, but we're going to go ahead and buy what he has. And we will trade some logs. I'm actually going to send these hide coats back, I think. All right, so we're slightly overpaying. There we go. All right, 52. There we go. Perfect. All right, what can we ask you to bring? Maybe some wool coats. I'm going to produce my own steel tools. All right, so again, really, Trader didn't have much for me to offer there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up right here. It is the late summer of year 8. We're in the process of building a mine. We're going to get coal so that we can start producing steel tools. Just got to stay ahead of the game on everything else, and I've got a lot I can do to keep everything going the way I need it to. Things are looking good so far. I don't feel like there's any immediate dangers, but one disaster could change all of that. So, as always, I was pleasantly surprised with how many folks were interested in this series when I did the first video, so thank you for that. If you do want to see more, just hit that thumbs up. That lets me know that. A thumbs down is not necessary to let me know that you hate this. I seem to have 1 or 2 people who follow this channel who, if it's not Ultimate General Civil War, they give me a thumbs down. Which kind of makes me smile, but, you know, whatever. So thank you for that. If you have any comments, questions about the game, things you want me to explore or address or do, or things you think I should be doing, just let me know in the comment section below. And we'll try to do another episode here every couple of days on this series. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.